Low Effort Podcast. Welcome to part 2 of episode 2. And I'm going to talk to you about part 2s in general because I'm part of the part 2 generation, the Pepsi generation. Too young to be Gen X, too old to be millennial. I don't remember seeing the original Batman with Tim Burton, Michael Keaton. Didn't see that in the theater. I was too young, but I remember Batman Returns, the terrifying Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I was too young to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the theater. Incredible movie. No, I remember seeing TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze, with a fantastic musical performance by the great Vanilla Ice in a song called Ninja Rap. All-time classic that really holds up over time. I remember Ghostbusters 2, which was actually pretty good. Ghostbusters 2 is good. And then there you have music coming out, like Weezer's second album, Pinkerton. And that album was technically not as good as the Blue album as far as songwriting, I think, but I really liked it. It was very raw and very emo. Really kind of set the standard for emo of the time. And Rivers Cuomo, the singer from Weezer, was quoted later as saying that he hated it, and that makes it even more emo to me, which makes me love it even more. Crystal Pepsi. When I got a Nintendo, it was actually when Super Nintendo came out. So the second Nintendo came out and I got the first one. Sort of a hand-me-down. Still cool. I'm really glad I got it. Strangely enough, probably because it came from the swap meet, it had, instead of the original Super Mario Brothers, it came with Super Mario Brothers 2, which, if you know anything about video game history, you might know that Super Mario 2 in the United States was actually a reskin of a game called Doki Doki Panic. They actually took a different game and they put the Mario character sprites in it because the Japanese Mario 2 was way too difficult for American audiences. So it's kind of a smart move on Nintendo's part, but it also kind of influenced me in a strange way because all the characters move differently and the bad guys are different, the game mechanics are different, and it was really fun and I liked it a lot, but I got a totally different perspective than the other kids on what Mario Brothers was all about. I have to admit I'm recording this at the water store in between customers. If you couldn't tell, that's why it might sound weird. Speaking of Japanese things, I have these wonderful alkaline water machines that talk. Let me see if I can get a recording of the water machine talking. Say hi, water machine.
Power on. Yuki water.
No idea if that came through or not, but where was I? Yeah, sequels. Oh, yeah. We also had the Star Wars prequels, which everyone famously loved. Lots of great characters in those, like Jar Jar Binks. And yeah, I'm not going to talk anymore about that. All in all, I had fun. I didn't really notice at the time too much. I kind of did a little bit. I mean, the McDonald's toys weren't quite the same, but I still had fun for the most part. And well, seem to be fizzling out a little here, so I'm going to take a break. 90s nostalgia. I should probably cash in on that before it jumps the shark. So Pogs. I had some Pogs. I played Pogs. Pager. I had a pager, also known as a beeper, when I was in high school. There was an awesome commercial on the radio here. There was a company, there was a guy named JJ, the king of beepers. If you wanted to get a beeper, you go to JJ. And every commercial, he would advertise all the colors and everything, and he'd say that he had the best discounts in town. And he always ended the commercial with, "Why? Because I'm JJ, I'm the owner, and I'm the king of beepers!" Which I found very entertaining. I love people shouting with weird accents and weird voices and stuff. Another great piece of Phoenix history. There's a guy at the Burton Bar Library. That's a big library that we have downtown. Really, really cool library. It's I think 5 stories, and there's a big kind of open center area with a railing around it in every story. So you can go to the middle and you can look all the way up to the top and all the way down. And there's a guy that announces when the library is going to be closing, and he just has to stand at the bottom and say it really loud. And he had this really interesting voice. And here's my impression is he used to say, "The library will be closing in 5 minutes. 5 minutes." I love that. Oh, so much. And these are just some stories about growing up in the 90s. And also, I found the Anarchist Cookbook online somehow. I don't know how I found it or why or what I was even looking for. But there was a recipe in there to make some napalm, and I am not going to say what it was, because if there are any kids listening, I don't want them to do what I did, which was almost burn down a grocery store. Almost. Allegedly. I just made a big burn mark on a concrete fence. I just try to make it sound cooler than it is. So yeah, 90s. It's cool again for now. Very soon to not be cool, and we'll see what's next. I mean, I guess historically the early 2000s is what's going to be cool, which seems hard to believe, but I'm sure it's going to happen. That's just the way of things. So maybe next time we'll talk about The Matrix and Limp Bizkit. Oh, God. Okay, bye. I love you.